Okay. We're going to call the meeting to order. Good evening. I'd like to call to order the regular meeting of the Town of Killenly Zoning Board of Appeals for Thursday, May 14th, 2026 at 7:02 p.m. The meeting is being held in the Town Hall Community Room, Hybrid Room, second floor, 172 Main Street, Killenly, Connecticut. The meeting is now called to order. We'll start with a roll call vote.
Andrew Farner,
Here.
David Izzo,
Here.
Lynn LaBerge,
Here.
William Mengy,
Here.
and Jared Peachy.
Here.
We'll go on to Article 3, Citizens Participation. Public comment can be emailed to publiccomment@killenlyconnecticut.gov or mailed to the Town of Killenly, 172 Main Street, Killenly, Connecticut, 06239, on or before the meeting. All public comments received prior to 2 p.m. on the day of the meeting will be posted on the town's website, www.killinglyct.gov.
We didn't receive any written public comment. So at this point in the meeting, if anyone here or online wants to speak to anything that's not part of our public hearings, anything general, this would be the time. We would just have to go to the mic or identify yourself if you're online. I see no.
Okay. We'll close the citizens' participation. On to Article 4, Public Hearings. To participate in the public hearing, the public may join the meeting via WebEx or in person at townofkillenly.mywebx.com/townofkillenly.my.j.php?MTID =MDOAEDFF 5D656C06E473086 55B32CA97. Is that listed on our website?
It's listed on our
Okay.
website. You can actually, it's a clickable link on the website too. We're getting kind of creative on there.
And then you
I
just want to
appreciate you reading it out loud, but you're fine. You don't
try.
have to.
And then so we're going to go to application 26-848 of Melanie Tripp to vary the Town of Killenly zoning regulations 450 dimensional requirement, Table A, minimum front setback from 40 feet to 25 feet for an 8x12 front porch, 82 Francis Street on the GIS map 159, lot 39 in an MD zone,
I think you meant 80 by 20, right?
8x20, 8
Yeah.
feet by, yep,
Okay.
thank you.
And just give me a second, Mr. Chair. I'm gonna get that
Oh, no, it's 82. What's
plan
the
up
address?
for everyone to be able to see. I was told as well, the Facebook feed, although it should be good now on audio, there might have been a brief interruption when we started, even at 7:02. So we just kicked off the Zoning Board of Appeals meeting. Really nothing was decided or heard yet. So for anyone that's joining remotely, let me just get this up for us. Do we have the applicant here for this one? Tripp? No? Okay. So the application is in your guys' packet. It is for a front setback reduction from 40 foot to 25 feet for an 8x20 foot front porch. The applicant, just kind of skipping ahead, the applicant is claiming a hardship as the home is legal non-conforming, built in 1948 within the front setback. Zoning was adopted in 1975. Other homes and structures within the district are closer than the proposed front improvement inside of that front setback. Other homes in that district have front porches, decks, entries. So it's what they're claiming is it's nothing unique for the neighborhood to have that type of thing. The applicant did submit as part of the application a sketch plan as well as Google Street photos, the legal notice, and I can attest to the placard having been installed 10 days prior to tonight's meeting, as is required. The I'll leave it up to you guys to kind of go through, but just kind of zooming in on this plan. This is a sketched site plan. They worked with town staff just to do this layout. It is based off of the town GIS map. It is not a survey. It is within the board's right if they wanted to require a survey, either as a condition or as something to for another night. But the as you can see, just kind of the north of the property here, there's an existing pool structure and home just on that northern property. Other homes kind of all have that same general setback. Most of the homes in this neighborhood were built prior to zoning. The proposal is just for that little front porch. As sketched out, working with the applicant, they were had measured it so that way the footings for this proposed deck would be just inside that front sidewalk. So it wouldn't even be going beyond that front sidewalk that's on their property. Another part of the application, I just want to see if we can pull that up, are these street view photos. So this is fairly recent front view of the property. The subject home right there with this retaining wall. And here's it from a slightly different angle. So, fortunately, the applicant's not here tonight, so I thought they would be, but it is up to the board whether or not you guys want to, this is a public hearing, so you can discuss it generally at this point. You can choose to close the public hearing tonight, or you can choose to keep it open. That is up to you guys.
Did you hear from any of the property abutters?
I heard from none. So the placard, again, was up. There's been some construction in that neighborhood. I know I'm like a street away with some road work in that neighborhood, but it's an area with a lot of people that walk and go through, so I haven't heard from anyone in regards to that. We haven't really received much in form of comment on any of the applications tonight.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from the board? Yeah, pretty much submitted everything they need to. So basically, we need a motion to close. that
Yeah, just so being aware, when we close the public hearing, after we close the public hearing, I can kind of comment on anything for clarity purposes that's in the packet, but there's no new information that would be presented to you guys once you close the public hearing.
Okay. So we'll make a motion to,
Bill Mengy, I'll make a motion to close public hearing, application 26-848.
David is all seconded.
okay. On to application.
We need a vote.
Oh, we need a vote. It's just a roll call. Do you want to do roll call? They're here now. No, the guys, they were on computer before.
Oh, yeah, so you don't have to do roll call vote. You
Okay.
can do just a voice vote, all in favor. If you'd
All in
like.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay,
Okay.
motion passes.
On to application 26849 of James Chaplin to vary the Town of Killenly zoning regulations, 450 dimension requirement, Table A, minimum front setback from 40 feet to 20 feet for a 8-foot by 21-foot front porch at 45 Cross Street on the GS map 177, lot 36, LD zone.
So I believe we do have the applicant here tonight for that. So if you wouldn't mind, your dealer's choice, you can stand at the podium if you'd like, or if you don't mind having a seat. Okay.
Take the right mic, right?
Yeah, the right microphone is usually better.
Good evening, James. Sh-
Just on that microphone, if you hit the right at the bottom there, that flat part, right, yep, nope, above that. Right in the center.
Push.
There you go. You're all set. Now you
Good
go.
evening.
There you go.
Evening, sir.
So you're requesting a variance under section 450, table A of the Killenly zoning regulations to reduce the required setback
Correct,
from 40 feet to 20 feet.
correct.
And your hardship is that the home is in an existing legal non-conforming structure. The structure was built in 1958, which the current regulations established in the setback were required in 1975, so it was before zoning.
Correct.
And then there are existing homes within the area with the same front porch that you're looking for?
Correct.
Okay. Any questions from the board?
Are you putting a covered porch on or just an open porch?
So open porch with a overhang
For the front door?
from the roof. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Do we have a verification that anywhere else in the neighborhood has a similar setback?
So, there is as part of that, as part of that application, there is a little bit wider viewed GIS map showing the subject property. As you move north and south, there is a difference in zoning districts at a certain point, but the house immediately south of it is very similar in terms of location. You have a concrete front porch there, no cover, but front porch that comes out similar, if not slightly further than the proposed. To the north is a older structure with a fully enclosed front porch. I will pull up.
So you got this one here.
Let's see. And I can always, if it helps the board, as we've done in the past, pulled up the GIS. Some of the GIS has gotten a little bit better with the ability to do street view, so we can see what that looks like. But the applicant did submit, as part of the
Oh, here you go.
application, a sketch that you see at the on the screen there, just kind of giving what we would normally see with a building permit application, showing the approximate layout and a cross section of the deck.
The house already sits in the setback.
The house already sits in the
Yeah.
front setback, that's correct. So the applicant submitted these photos as part of the application. One of them in particular, I will zoom in, looks down that front line there, and you see
Yes.
that
Yep.
front porch
You can see it
or
here.
or deck that's next door. Again, kind of common to have that. There was this dimension, this photo here. I'm gonna let the applicant explain that right there. So is that, I'm guessing, the approximate distance
Yeah.
it would come off the home?
Yeah, so from that picture up on the screen, that is the, to the immediate right is the bottom step. There's 2 steps leading up to the front door. Where that little brown stake is, it's 8 inches from that front step. That is the immediate
8 foot.
extension. Yeah, so it's only 8 inches from
Yep.
that step is what I'm looking for, but 8 feet from the front door. So I'm really looking for 8 inches
Past your front?
past
front
that,
steps.
the,
step.
correct,
Yeah.
correct, correct.
Maybe that one also shows it a little bit better.
That is the max of where the total front of the
Porch.
front porch will be built from,
And
correct?
at one time, I lived on Rosedale Street, so I know what the
Okay,
area
yeah.
looks like.
Do you have well and septic there that you have to move, or it's all city?
Well is the immediate front right corner of the property. I don't know if you're looking at that picture up on the screen with
Yeah.
the blue, so next door, immediate left. So all the way to the left of my mailbox is where that well, shallow well is located, city sewage, no
Okay,
septic.
so no problem with that, okay.
Yep, yep.
The property is also, I don't think it was mentioned in the application, is somewhat unique, not necessarily for the front end of it, but has a very large side easement or right of way to a rear property. There was one question or comment that came up in regards to that, which is a separate application in regards to a shed structure, which is gonna be looked at separately. The applicant is not seeking a variance on that particular item. I do wanna go back to that zoning map, just to kind of show you the zoning districts do change.
Oh, right here.
So the zoning districts in that neighborhood are somewhat unique, as this black line that you see here, so subject property, it has the 36 number right here. Kind of even with Fairview Street. The black line that you see cutting through the neighborhood is the edge of the borough of Danielson. So that's that square mile inside the borough of Danielson. And the difference between the two zoning districts is you have low density residential here and medium density residential over here, which are relatively similar. But these low density properties are fairly undersized for that zoning district. One of the items that usually comes up on a variance application is whether or not the variance that's being sought is to the minimum extent, right? Like, so in choosing the size of that front porch, is that kind of what you're looking at, is the minimum you feel to come off there, or?
Essentially, yes.
Okay.
That's, yep, yep. Other than that porch, there's no other plans to apply
push
for
out
a
any further.
variance to make it from 20 to 15 to 10,
For
so on
right-
and so
for someone
forth.
else?
So, this is the last project.
It's only 8
If approved.
inches. That's all you're really looking for is 8 inches
Literally
off
8
the-
inches from
yeah.
the
Bottom of the step.
the
Yeah.
bottom of
Yeah.
that first step is really all I'm looking for.
And I can tell you, like, when we look at new construction, the front steps there are part of the structure. So that is an area that we would look at as being part of the structure. The zoning does allow for projections, and in some cases, that has been front steps or things, but really the way projections are looked at are, say, for, like, as you see here, the overhang of the structure would be more of a projection as it's written under the zoning. So front steps, I know sometimes it's a point of contention with builders, they wanna get right up to that front line, but if you're putting prefabricated steps there, and it's
Yep.
not a landscaping structure, like a stone, it is part of the structure, so,
We have a motion? Yep. Unless there's any other questions.
So just reminding the board again, when you close the public hearing, would end your ability for new information, which would include like asking the applicant questions. So prior to closing, I would ask any questions if you have them.
Is the overhang, is that gonna be further out than
No,
the?
no,
Did you want it further out?
No.
Okay,
nope.
All right.
All I'm asking for is what the variance
okay,
application's for.
perfect.
Yep.
Yeah, that cross section, kind of depicts
Yes.
it. It's pretty much going to that leading edge of the deck.
Yeah, but if they wanted it longer, they. Perfect.
set? So I'll make a motion to close out application number 26-849 of James Champlin.
Bill Mengy, I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I think that was unanimous,
Yes, that was,
so passes.
Thank you.
Or it's closed.
It's
So,
closed for now.
Again, just to be clear, so we close the public hearings, and then we're gonna reopen it as unfinished business, and that's when they deliberate and actually vote on the application, okay?
Thank you. Push.
thank you, James. On to application 26-850, Suzette Minkey, to vary the Town of Killenly zoning regulation 450, dimensional requirements, Table A, minimum front setback from 75 feet to 40 feet to construct a single-family house, 96 Rogers Road, GIS map 1, lot 2, rural density. Is the applicant present?
Yep. First, we would start with the applicant's presentation if they're present, and then if you have any concerns, we'd have you come up to the mic, name, address, and then concerns, questions, what have you. I will say this, we'll probably just briefly go through it, so we're all kind of on the same page, and then open the floor if you'd like. Norm T-Boat from Killingley Engineering Associates did send me an email at the end of last week. He's unable to attend the meeting tonight. It's his son's graduation from college for his applicant, but he did want to restate the applicant, Suzette Mankey, has been submitted to reduce the front setback from 75 feet to 40 feet due to excess slopes and the presence of ledge. The reduction in the front setback will reduce ledge cut to approximately 7 to 8 feet instead of over 20 feet that would have been required if the 75-foot front setback is held. The applicant's representative did submit these kind of sketch survey plans that are showing two different depictions. One of which holding that front, what would be considered a conforming front setback line off the front there, and then pushing into that ledge. In reviewing this, my only general comment would be our zoning regulations do have language that speaks to the max slope. We usually want to have 2.5 to 1 at a maximum, or like a retaining wall. So that looked pretty steep. So like from a zoning standpoint, we would normally look to have that addressed with like a retaining wall, or pushing even further out to feather the hill. I'm suspecting a back lot like this would probably call for a retaining wall. But again, this is more of a sketch plan. He's just showing that front depiction of how far back this would look. Going on to the next sheet is the proposal. The proposal is shown with the red dotted line here, and the proposed 28 by 32 house, which does have a front porch, and it appears to be a one-car garage, and it's showing that cutting in to the hillside there. Other things that's not necessarily depicted here, but was noticed by staff in reviewing it and visiting the site. There's a cross culvert to the southern portion of the property. That cross culvert, the area is depicted as most likely wetlands, wetland soil on that southern end. This property is also unique as it shares a border with the state of Rhode Island, and I believe there is a animal preserve property on the other side of the state line, albeit state line, different jurisdiction, right? So, but the state line acts as any property line would, you know, with that rear setback. They did provide, I believe it's in the folder, notification to the abutting municipality in Rhode Island. It is an email. He emailed that on 5/8/2026. Yep. So, again, options tonight, and I would encourage you, obviously, to open the floor for anyone that's present, is to either keep the hearing open and for next month, if we want to speak with the applicant's representative, which might be the case in this, or you could close it and render a decision, but just know that you can't hear any more information at that point. So I'd probably encourage you now, unless you had questions of me, to open the floor.
My only question is moving the setback forward, does it confer any right to develop down near the wetland by default, or is there a way we can limit it only to the space that the house needs to occupy?
No, that's a great question. So a sin of the past, I think more or a thing of caution that some towns have done is when they propose a setback reduction, is if they approve it, they say it's approved, reduced. And if you do that, that would imply it's reduced for the entirety of the property, not just really for that application, or just for that, say, that side or front setback. So when stating a motion, if you were to, say, approve an application for reduction of a setback for a particular project, you would say it is for this project, for this home, to be built as depicted on the plan set. And you know, whether or not you would have like a condition where it has to be, you know, set by a surveyor, for instance, to ensure compliance. But it would not reduce it uniformly for the whole property as long as it's worded correctly. Yeah, so if you could just up to the podium, or if you want to sit, that's fine as well. And then just say your name, address, and you're good.
I'm Brian Presbury. I live directly across the street at 103 Rogers Road. My main concern with it would be the runoff and erosion that would happen once you start removing these trees. I mean, if you look at the road and look at this property, the slope is incredible. It is quite a bit of water we're going to be talking here. And so that will cause ice problems, snow problems. My other concern is Rogers Road is a single lane road. And by reducing the footprint of that, you're really gonna push construction right to the road, blocking access from all of our houses basically past that point. There's not really gonna be anywhere for cars to pass forward. I think other than that, those are my two concerns. So, thank you.
Thank you.
I just hold this open.
My name is Scott McHugh. I live at 109 Rogers, which is directly across the street. Like this gentleman said, I'm concerned with once you start this slope is, I mean, if none of you have seen it, it is straight up ledge. To me, it's an unbuildable lot. To conform to one person's, to go from 70 feet, 75 feet, I think, to 35 that's a big amount. I live right across the street with.
Solely for the fact of that ledge behind there, you know what I mean? It's kind of a self-created hardship in this situation where I've seen dozens of people go and look at the lot, and, you know, it's kind of obvious that it's not a practical buildable lot. It seems like we're not talking just a few feet here, we're talking almost half the distance. You know, if it was a few feet, I don't think Scott and I would be here today, but we're talking half the distance here. Thank you again.
Thank you.
So having heard members of the public in opposition, especially being direct abutters, I would suggest either keeping it opposition, especially being direct abutters. I would suggest either keeping it open.
Can I make a motion to keep it open?
Yep, to continue the
Yeah,
public hearing.
I'll make a motion to keep it open till next month.
Yep, so next month's meeting would be, just to be clear,
June.
June 11th. June 11th.
Okay.
So, and hopefully at that time, you know, we would be able to have the applicant here, so that way they can answer your guys' questions and maybe better address some of the concerns that you guys have. Yep.
Is there any way to get pictures of the property?
Yeah, I can look to do more of a site visit there. I mean, I did snap a photo, and it's hard to, it's just trees.
Okay.
Like, you know, in terms of getting a scope of it, you know,
Yeah.
it just goes up, so it didn't really
Oh, that
read
one
well.
right
You know, I think there's a small photo
Yeah.
with my my placard
So,
there, so.
Do we need a motion?
We
Or
need
you
a
made the
second.
motion. I'll second it, because I like to drive by there and see what it looks like myself, to be honest with you.
Yep.
We'll have a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
So, again, just for all you guys, June 11th, we would come back, because we stated the date. It's not like a new public hearing sign or anything like that. So set your calendars, but if you have any questions, feel free, come see me. I'm in the planning development office. I'm here Monday through Friday. My name's John, and happy to go through the application with you guys, or help you if you want to submit a comment if for some reason you can't attend. Okay? Yep.
On to application 26851 of Gary Oatley to vary the Town of Killenly zoning regulations, 450 dimensional requirement, Table A, minimum front setback from 75 feet to 35 feet to construct a 40-foot by 40-foot detached garage at 539 Bailey Hill Road, GSI map 165, Lot 3, RD zone. The applicant's online?
Yes, I believe the property owner is online, yes.
Good evening. Yes, I am remotely. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yep.
Very good.
Two folders there. One is the old variance.
Okay.
I have a question. Why did you need it that large?
I have a lot of assets.
I'm sorry?
I have a lot of assets.
Oh, okay.
Such as lawn, things for lawn care, or?
I work on vehicles. So just a workshop for myself. I also want to put a golf simulator in it as well.
So it's not for business?
It is not for business.
Okay, thank you.
In choosing the location, at 35 feet off that front stone wall, can you explain to us kind of the rationale for that particular location?
Oh, that one got approved. Okay.
Yeah, so if you look at my property, it's built on a very steep hill. So, I mean, 75 feet just would not be feasible. Like I said, the elevation drops dramatically around, even before that 75 feet. So just, it wouldn't be feasible to put it down there. And I'm also looking to have it in line with my shed on the other side. I think it would make more sense than to have it back.
So, speaking of the shed, it's part of the packet, some information, and I did include the folder. I was able to locate the folder from 2001 for context. There is a front shed. It was a variance for a front setback reduction to 30 feet. I scaled it off. Again, this is only a GIS map. It jokingly means get it surveyed, right? So I scaled it off just from the map, and it reads as about 25 feet. It's been there long enough that it would not matter at this point. It would be grandfathered in regardless of the variance in terms of location. And again, my measurement is not binding in any way. I'm not a licensed surveyor. The tool shed was granted back at the time because it was shown to be one of the only potential locations to be put on the site because of its topography, because of the location of the septic system, which is, I believe, to the north of the property. And if the property owner has different information, please let me know. The rear of the property drops off. This house is kind of built into that front hill. The driveway goes down to like a side garage. This front area where there's a turnaround is your flatter space. When you see these topography lines start to spread out, that indicates that it is flatter and it starts to go down. Back in the day, again, I think it was a relative of the homeowner, but I'll let him speak to that. They chose not to do any development in this area because it was being used, I believe, as like orchard type of like fruit trees in that area. And that's, I didn't see that when I visited the property. Maybe it is further back. Outside of the property, as you start to push more to the west, that abutting property, there is a pond, which I think is shown in the.
So it's gonna go right here.
Show them one of the other pictures.
Yep, it's shown in one of these other pictures here for the GIS map. There's a pond and some wetlands as you push further towards the back. But again, we have the applicant on tonight, so did I misspeak on any of that, Gary?
No, that's all correct.
Okay. The house, as you'll see too, again from the sketch, is the front setback does run right through the home as it sits right now. Back in the day when zoning was first established, particularly for the rural development zone, it had a 40-foot front setback, and the town increased that in the 80s. So that's where you see a lot of that development prior to the 1980s in the rural development zone being a lot closer.
Jonathan, is there a house across the street from them, or?
Across the street from there, I believe, let's go to the abutters map.
There is not. It's all,
I believe that is the Tri-Lakes property, correct?
that's correct. And it's all unbuildable across from there.
Yeah, it's so, being it's in the Tri-Lakes, was it 520? So, oh, I'm looking at the wrong one. 520 is part of that Tri-Lakes property, which is now owned by the state of Connecticut.
Thank you.
And there was no comment from them.
No, so when we do the abutters map and everything like that, there's not a requirement in the regulations to do an abutters notice
Okay.
or anything like that. It's just a placard up and legal ads.
Okay.
So the placard goes up 10 days before the hearing, and then we do 2 legal ads that are spaced per Connecticut state statute.
Did P&Z work with the applicant and the proposed space as far as possibly with the
Microphone.
Sorry about that. Did P&Z work with the applicant for the proposed space as far as where the ideal placement would be, or like was that brought to your attention?
No, so the application just came in on its own. I worked with the applicant's contractor in the getting the documentation.
Okay.
For the application, which is pretty normal on the ZBA end of it. It's not your normal developers typically. It is more homeowner driven or like handyman driven, where just getting all that information together sometimes is a hurdle. So we work with them to just kind of get some of these maps and some of these resources together and depict it how they would like it depicted. But it is, in your guys' purview, it says in our application that a survey may be required. Generically on ones like this, they're asking essentially for a waiver as it's depicted. There's a front stone wall, so it's which holds that front property line. I believe it's mentioned in the deed. But whether or not it went to, like, say, Planning and Zoning Commission, no, this type of application wouldn't. Gary, I know the question was kind of asked in terms of the overall size. Have you considered a smaller detached garage at all?
If anything, I'd want to even go bigger. So 40 by 40 is what I'm looking for.
Okay.
And my neighbor, who is 2 houses down, he did the same thing, and his garage is, I think, even double that.
Yes, yeah, there's one a few years ago that was granted. I want to say it was around 4,000 square feet. It was quite 40 by 80. It was quite a large.
It was 100 by 100 that they wanted.
Yeah, the original application was double that, and
What was their
they went
setback,
much
though?
smaller.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was their?
What was the setback encroachment on that one?
If you give me a few minutes, I can double check.
I'd love to know.
Yep. While I look that up, do you guys have any other questions for the applicant?
I don't.
I'm just referring to the tremendous drop off after the driveway. How far does that drop off?
Give me 1 second. I can look at the topography that we have on our
Is
GIS.
that in here? Because if we can go back just 5 feet.
If I'm reading this right, every one of these lines is a 10-foot change in elevation.
Oh, so yeah, it goes real quick.
After the house hits a precipice.
Yeah, so that's a flatter spot, which would.
Right.
Because you wouldn't go like a 30 by 60 building if you went the other way.
So again, just so we're clear for everybody. So if you're looking to
Oh, I
ask
see
the
it now.
applicant on like any modifications or changes to the application as presented, you have to kind of work with them on that or ask them with that. But hold on 1 second. It was 2019, so we're going back here.
So, I mean, you guys approved a 60 by 80, so I think what I'm asking for is
Setbacks, so that
reasonable.
we're-
So the reduction at the time in 2019. Now, and just to remind the board, each one is looked at uniquely, right? So
Yeah.
each property is looked at uniquely, but it was a 75-foot reduction, 75-foot front setback reduced to 32.6.
So it's within the same.
It's
Yeah.
about the same proximity.
it's 3 feet less.
Actually, the applicant is seeking to
2.5
not
feet
be
less.
as close to the road. They also had to get a rear setback reduction and a lot coverage reduction for that particular application. And if I recall correctly, I think the gentleman was retiring and was
For his
looking
car business.
for his car. He had a lot of tools, and it was somewhat of a unique situation.
Motorhome too, I believe.
And yes, he was
Yeah.
looking for a spot to park his
Yep.
motorhome. Yeah, that was a fairly unique application, I will say that. So the each one of those lines represents 2 feet of elevation change.
okay.
So each
Oh,
one
okay.
represents 2 feet of elevation change. You are at, it's gonna be easier for me to read this off the
Is there a-
GIS.
Driveway to go down to the back, though? Looks like a trail, right?
You can ask.
Is there a roadway between the garage that you want to build and the house? Or the other driveway, the corner? Can't tell if that's...
No.
Okay, so it could go back. 2, 4, 6, 8, but that's an 8-foot drop. It's within the setback of the other one, so...
Let me just share my other screen here.
These are just bushes. Oh, it's a driveway. Those trees.
There we go.
There's a driveway kickback.
Right.
So he's trying to put it here so we
All right, I don't know if you
go in
can
right there.
maximize that on the screen up
Oh,
there.
okay.
Bear with me a second, we'll look at it, but, so the, again, every 2 feet, we have, where it starts to go from this, I guess, this flatter area, it's at 708. The back part of that, building was at 706. So from 706, we start pushing further into the property. At the very back, it's, 684.
Oh, okay.
So
That's a drop.
it drops. How are you looking to address, say, the back half of that garage? Like, is it gonna be like, do you think you're gonna have to use fill in that area, or a retaining wall?
Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to raise up where the back side of the garage is going.
Almost 4 feet.
But not as much, obviously, if I were to put it back at 75 feet, then it would, just wouldn't be feasible.
It'd be way up, yeah. So, let me just switch back to this map here. I did it to you again, to make it a little bigger. So, as scaled off here, the back half of that garage would basically be right at or just crossing over 75 feet off the back there. So I can see that what you're talking about, if based on that size, if you start pushing backwards, you're going to have a substantial increase on fill or retaining wall, and then now we're starting to push towards potentially upland review area for that back wetland system.
Does this garage abut to that driveway where the vehicles are, the trucks?
So there's
Or is
that
there-
truck's right there. So
or
I'm
is there-
guessing the front of the garage, Gary or Mr. Oley, as depicted, would be kind of right here. I don't know if you can see the
Correct.
cursor.
Correct, yeah, and that's what makes sense to me, is that's the flat area on the property, as well as being adjacent to the driveway. It makes sense for it to go there.
And that's within the 40-foot setback.
Yep.
Okay. Or
So that's the
35,
35 foot,
yep.
35 foot off that front. Again, it's a stone wall that's right here.
Any more questions for the board? Gary, do you have any more questions for us or comment?
I do not at this time.
All right, thank you. Do we have a motion?
Bill Mengy, I'll make a motion to close application 26-851.
David is all second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carries.
Okay.
Now the public hearings are closed, right?
Yep, so
Okay.
all the public hearings except for,
Number 3,
number 3 on our
26,850 will be moved till
till
June
June 11th.
11th.
The other 3 are closed, and we have them on the agenda as unfinished business. If you want to look at, or start with them in order, you guys can choose to make a motion and debate them. You also don't have to do that tonight, but typically you would look to do, that's your normal. is
Okay.
You usually would do that tonight.
On to Article 5, unfinished business. Application 26,848 of Manality Trip to vary the Town of Killenly zoning regulations, 450 dimensional requirements, Table A, minimum front setback from 40 feet to 25 feet for a 8 feet by 20 feet front porch at 82 Francis Street, GSI map 159, lot 39, mid-zone. I want a picture of that when you get done.
So, again, just to kind of help instruct you guys a little bit, typically we look for a motion in the affirmative, and then you would have a conversation. You don't have to do a motion in the affirmative, that's normally what you would do. You would have, then you would open you guys up to discussion, and then you could vote, you could modify the motion, things like that. And I'm only providing that context because it's been
8 months?
10.
10 months since the
10
last time
months?
we
Oh
met,
my God.
so, yeah.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve variance 26,848. The reason being, the home was built before zoning was adopted. They're not asking for anything else that any other home doesn't have in the area.
I'll second it.
Roll call or all in favor?
So typically, you would want to have discussion at this
Okay.
point, if there's any discussion on it.
Any discussion from the board?
I just want to say in general, I think some of the concern that we've been having is setting a soft precedent with pushing things out further, but I mean, especially in this case, it seems like that it's already there, so we're not breaching anything, you know, or adding anything new. If the neighborhood already has similar setbacks, then we're not encroaching the border any further, so to speak.
Yeah, and we're not giving them any privilege that another.
Correct, thank you,
Homeowner
that's,
has.
In a
exactly,
non-conforming lot.
right.
Do we do roll call for this, though?
Ideally, a roll call
Yeah.
for this, because, again, just kind of keeping everyone in the loop. Zoning Board of Appeals requires 4 affirmative votes to pass a motion. We have a 5-member board, so that's why it's important to know how everyone votes.
We'll do a roll call vote.
David Izzo,
I'm in favor.
Lynn LaBerge,
Yes.
William Mengy,
Yes.
Jared Peachy,
Yes,
Andrew Farner.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
On to application 26,849 of James Chaplin to vary the Town of Killenly zoning regulations, 450 dimensional requirement, Table A, minimum front setback from 40 feet to 20 feet for an 8-foot by 21-foot front porch at 45 Cross Street, GIS map 177, lot 36, in a LD zone. Do we have,
Bill Mengy, I'll make a motion to approve application 26-849, based on the hardship that the home is non-conforming, it was built pre-zoning. It's the hardship.
David is all second it.
any discussion from the board?
In the same thing, we aren't giving them any type of privilege that other homeowners don't have in the area.
Right next door.
And some looks like they're, I mean, the setbacks are even smaller.
It's only 8 inches too, so.
Yeah.
We'll do a roll call for the motion.
Does somebody have theirs on? Lynn LaBerge,
Yes.
William Mengy,
Yes.
Jared Peachy,
Yes.
David Izzo,
Yes.
Andrew Farner.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
On to application 26-851. Do I have to close the other one till next month first? Because it's,
No, you can
Okay.
move right past it because
That's what I thought.
we can't move on to unfinished business because the public hearing's still.
perfect. Application 26-851 of Gary Oatley to vary the Town of Killenly zoning regulations, 450 dimensional requirement, Table A, minimum front setback from 75 feet to 35 feet to construct a 40 by 40 detached garage at 539 Bailey Hill Road, GIS map 165, Lot 3, RD zone. Any motions from the board?
Bill Mengy, I'll make a motion to approve application 26-851. The whole home was built pre-zoning. I'm very familiar with the area. The topography is quite intense. Knowing the road, I don't see really any other locations. I think Mr. Oatley's fully entitled to that location based on that hardship.
David is why I second it. I agree with Bill.
Yeah, and there's already a shed that's even closer
Right.
to the road, and more to the setback.
Any discussion from the board anymore?
Nope.
We'll do a roll call vote for the motion.
William Mengy,
Yes.
Jared Peachy,
Yes.
David Izzo,
Yes.
Lynn LaBerge,
Yes.
Andrew Farner.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
So again, just kind of speaking for all the applicants tonight, I'll be putting a legal ad in the Norwich Bulletin at the beginning of next week. For the beginning of next week, it'll probably be like Wednesday, just because of lead time. That starts what is called a 15-day appeal period, where somebody, if they're so aggrieved, they can file an appeal against an application if they feel that there was some fault in the overall process. So if anyone has any questions about that, again, they can reach out to me in my office, but that's the normal process. We would post that. Inside that 15-day, I'll be getting you guys an approval letter outlining what the setback reduction was and what it was for, and we would ask that you would place that on file with the town clerk at the end of, after the 15-day appeal period, because a zoning variance does run with a property, and they don't have a sunset, but they are unique in this case where they are tied to these projects. So we would have you do that. After that point, then you could seek the additional approvals that you might need, either from zoning, a zoning permit, building permit, health department, and what have you.
On to Article 6, new business.
There is none.
Okay. On to Article 7, the adoption of the minutes. I didn't get any minutes to look over.
I didn't either.
We saving paper?
That is my fault. So that being said,
Move it to next meeting?
because we will be meeting next month, I will have them on the agenda along with the minutes from this meeting for you guys to review and to vote on. But,
Yes, you can make it.
if you just want to make a motion to table that to next month.
David is, I'll make a motion to table the July 10th, 2025 regular meeting minutes to our June 11th, 2026 meeting.
I'll second.
Article 8,
All in favor?
all in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? Motion
passes.
carried.
Yep. Again, I apologize for that. I mean,
You didn't want to waste
that
paper.
one extra page or
Yeah, it
2
could have been-
pages, whatever they were, definitely,
Well, next-
was the difference on the packet.
On to Article 8, correspondence to the board.
I don't really have any written correspondence to you guys, just generally We have been trying to work on some continuing education opportunities. I'm hoping we can get some out to you. I know we recently sent you guys one, I think, on biased, which generally speaking for a zoning board of appeals isn't as much of a factor, but you know, something to be aware of. I am going to look to get you guys copies of that presentation that was made, so that way we can anyone can look over that. So I'll make sure I try to include that next month, because most likely we'll only have one item in front of you.
Thank you.
Is there any more online opportunities?
Yeah, I mean, Yukon Clear does every so often put together some, but I will try to see if I can find some, particularly, I know I have some catalog access to American Planning Association. It might have some good opportunities or some upcoming seminars. I'm able to go back and look at past ones, but I think that's a subscription-based type thing. But I can check to see if there's anything coming up, particularly for ZBAs, because ZBAs are very unique in their role, and especially depending on the state. So.
On to Article 9, Council Liaison.
All right, from the town council meeting held on Tuesday, May 12th, Wright Pierce, the town's wastewater engineer, is expected to have a working draft for the projected capacity of the wastewater treatment plant. They were unable to get any information from Brooklyn and Pomfret in regards to their needs for future capacity. And the WPC interviewed a candidate for the plant superintendent, and he's expected to start at the end of May. In regards to the sewer moratorium, the WPCA approved an interim moratorium memorandum of understanding with Frito-Lay for a temporary reduction in their capacity. It still needs to be signed. On the Westfield Community Center, they put out bids for Phase 3 for the heating and hot water system in the building, and they still have many unresolved disputes with Downs Construction, the construction manager. The Rogers area, in regards to the PFAS contamination, there is not really much of an update. So the town does have some test kits that were given to them by, it says the State Department of Health. They go to Yukon, but they're not as, they're not measuring the same, to the same level. It's not as intense. And so what they're doing is, if they find homes that have elevated levels of PFAS, then they just keep moving out. I don't know which area they're in currently. And the Board of Education requested that the town take over the planning of the access road, and we will be discussing that further. The town council did approve a resolution taking an interest in Old Killingly Pond Dam with Department of Energy and Environmental Protection, where the residents and many of the residents of the town are looking to have Old Killingly Pond restored to its previous fill level. The fee schedule for the solid waste transfer station was approved. They added so if you're a veteran, the cost of the permit is, for the transfer station is $40. A regular one is $95, so it's a huge reduction. We're also looking at Killingly Intermediate School's roof improvements. The roof is in poor condition, and there's a lot of leaks, especially to the auditorium. I guess there's also some long-standing structural issues. A motion failed for the Northeast District Department of Health requested that Killingly's portion of opioid settlements funds were to go to the task force they have on opiate addiction, but that motion failed. We prefer to keep the opioid settlement money in Killingly for what the town desires or needs. And, there is a proposed pathway from Owen Bell to 550 Hartford Pike, proposed by the developer. That meeting is continued to next month. And the town council approved a resolution for the revenue connector to suspend and transfer collectible taxes to the suspense tax book. It's a yearly, it's something that we do yearly just to clear the tax rolls. It's not that the taxes are forgiven, it's just to clear the books. And, so the town budget passed, the Board of Education budget failed. The town council will have a special town council meeting on Tuesday at 6 to, decide how much the Board of Education budget will be reduced because it was voted that it was too high. And a reconvened town hall meeting, it will be on June 1st at the Killingly High School, and that will be at 7 o'clock. And that's it.
I have a question. The money that's coming in from the state of Connecticut, is that gonna be used to reduce the mill rate?
That is the intent, but we haven't voted on anything yet. The intent is to use it to reduce the mill rate, yes.
Okay, and I can tell you that Deep got in touch with the Killingly Historical Society and was asking us about the different industries that was around, and I did some research and come to find out textiles and some stuff Rogers does. And we did take a screenshot of some of that and sent that to Deep Wednesday.
That's common for like phase 1, phase 2 environmental assessment. They'll search at whatever records are present to try to figure out what was
Yeah,
out there.
Because you had the old sales mill there years and years ago.
Mhm.
And circuit boards that Rogers had done
Yeah.
that got coated, and so it was.
Well, and it was
a lot
good
of fun
year.
to-
It was a good year there, and there
Good
was
year in Williamsville.
Yep, in Williamsville. So there's a lot of industry that was present in that area, that's
Yeah.
for sure. I'll tag on a little bit. So planning and zoning has some public hearings going on right now. So I'm not gonna comment on them in particular because it's not the right place for it. But I would encourage you guys to pay attention to some of the planning and zoning applications. If you go on Facebook, I'm sure you've seen or heard some stuff about them. Some larger ones, the business park, for instance, application. There's also an application that's just coming up for public hearing across from the highway garage. That was a previously withdrawn application that would probably be of interest. The Wetlands Commission is also still looking at the business park development, along with a couple small little subdivision type applications or single lot applications. So unfortunately, I know the reconvene date is the same date as our next wetlands meeting too. So we already publicized for that as well. So we're gonna figure that out in terms of how to get everyone involved.
Because there's legal time limits to when the meeting has to be held
Yeah.
and when the.
And
new-
same for the Wetlands Commission, because we had a public hearing, and we like we did tonight.
Yep.
We said what the next day was. If we change it, then I have to put more legal ads out, and it becomes costly in confirming I have a quorum and and everything like that. So there's a lot of people already sharing that particular date. So I know we've looked at it a little bit from an AV standpoint, and I think most likely ours will be on Facebook, and we're gonna share a link to the school one. Because that type of public hearing, there's really not much for motions from the floor. It's just discussion or comment.
Yeah, because at that time, the public can't make any increases or decreases to the
Correct.
budget.
Yeah. So, that being said, if there's a motion to adjourn,
So moved.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting. Any seconds?
I'll second.
Oh, you so.
So, all in favor?
I
Favor?
Aye.
Okay.